The Babysitter Killer Queen is a Netflix original movie directed by McG and is a direct sequel to, wait for it, The Babysitter, also directed by McG. And if you're unfamiliar with The Babysitter, is a really over-the-top, gory, but great horror comedy that had Samara Weaving and Bella Thorne screwing things up for everybody else and making it hard for everybody to earn a living. Wait, that's the OnlyFans controversy. But enough about Bella Thorne being stupid and thinking that, her shit don't stink. Moving on from that, basically you had the character B, played by Samara Weaving, and this was the movie that kind of gave her big break, even though she'd been in, she's been in some good stuff since. Ready or Not, I really enjoyed, and I've enjoyed her in a couple other things. And you had the character Cole, who was the babysittee, and he's played by Judah Lewis, and they had a great friendship as babysitter and babysittee, and okay, it was great and everything, and they've had a friendship for a while, and then she's, one night, she's babysitting them while the parents go out, and then, oh wait, not everything's hunky-dory because B's leading some kind of death cult that needs to take the blood of the innocent from Cole and basically use it in a ritual to live forever because they made a pact with the devil. And everybody gets dispatched, including B, because Cole uses his friend Melanie's dad's car to drive through the house and kill her. And even though they had a great friendship, he had to do that because, he wanted to keep his blood in his life. That's kind of important, keeping your blood so you can live. And then we go 2 years later. And we even get scenes from the end of it where it's like, they can't find the body. And oh no, nobody really believes him and everything. And it kind of reminded me of Halloween 2, the John Carpenter one, that is, after the first Halloween, 1978. And unfortunately, that's kind of where this ties into, because this sequel reminded me more of the original Halloween 2, Electric Boogaloo, and this one had its moments. But where the first Babysitter, felt more organic and felt more fun, and yes, the gore was over the top, but the characters seemed like they were more in tune. A lot of times here, they felt like they were just going through the motions, and a lot of times it felt like a rehash. It felt like they were trying to hit the same notes, but the piano was very out of tune and had not been maintained for a while. It sounds like I'm really down on this movie, but actually I liked it more. I liked it more than I expected, but I didn't like it as much as I wanted to, if that makes any sense. Because there were times where this was really goddamn fun, but that's pretty much it right there. I'm gonna tell you right now that 2 years later, Cole's very awkward. He's still friends with Melanie, but she's got a boyfriend. He really likes her. There's a new girl named Phoebe, played by Jenna Ortega, who's pretty good in this, and she has a bit of a dark past. And everybody goes to some kind of weird secluded area to have a party, and then shit goes south. So that's pretty much it right there as far as, spoiler-free territory. It had its moments after that, but there were times where I felt like, okay, they're just kind of doing the same shit, and it's not really working as much. So anyway, that's going to be the spoiler. This is now spoiler territory. So 3, 2, 1, and go! So, okay, you got Phoebe with a dark backstory, but first she's introduced as a new student. And she tells a story about how her favorite movies waffle between Deliverance and Anything by Rob Reiner. And she's 9 days late on her period and decides to keep the kid because she looks at all their bright faces and knows she could raise a kid and, help the future. It was kind of funny. I mean, that part was kind of funny. And Cole's dealing with, the events from, 2 years ago. Nobody believes him. His parents have him on a bunch of medication. The school psychiatrist / nurse doesn't believe him. He's trying to work him through his issues, and he's still friends with Melanie. And one day, Melanie's like, let's just get out of here. Let's go to an island, or let's go to an area, party and everything. Let's have some fun, and let's take my dad's car, the same car that was restored after it was ran into the house to kill Samara Weaving. And the dad also makes his return. He gets high a lot, and then you got Cole's dad who likes to get high, but also wants to do good by his son. And him and the mother, they aren't in it as much because this one goes a little more, away from just the houses. And also with Phoebe, she finds a bunny, a little white rabbit, stuffed rabbit in her locker with the things, a little fortune cookie thing stuffed in there, said, "It ends tonight." And what the hell is this about? Something from her past. So everybody goes out, they go out to this party, and then Melanie and, Cole and friends go off into this, onto this boat, the banana boat, not the banana boat. And, oh wait, it turns out that they're all part of this death cult, because this satanic death cult and everything, even though satanic death cults are kind of weird. Though the one that they had in Annabelle creation, or Annabelle, was kind of weird. Anyway, moving on from that. In this one, they dispatch one of the friends, and it turns out, Melanie wrote her name in the book so she can make this deal and she can gain, power and everything and strength and all this and live forever, because that worked out so well for the previous group. This group's more bumbling, and then everybody else makes their return because it turns out that everybody else is alive. They're very much back. They came back after 2 years, and if they can complete this ritual with Cole being still innocent, then they can find a way to live forever. And from there, unfortunately, the movie kind of dips. Now, it does have some good stuff between Phoebe and Cole when, they're unlikely friends. Then they separate because she's got a reason to be back there, the whole "it ends tonight" thing. And then Cole saves her from some, potential sexual assault guy. Let's just say that much right there. I want to choose my words carefully when it comes to that, but you know the kind I'm talking about. It's like he was straight out of Deliverance. And then they meet up with the rest of the group. So everybody, suddenly the two groups are warring. The new group led by Melanie, and then the other one that was led by B. And everybody's like at war, but they got to do this. They got to do this thing, otherwise the old cult, goes back down to purgatory for 2 years, and the new cult won't get their powers that they want. Unfortunately, from there we get some somewhat hilarious deaths. Bella Thorne gets decapitated after she gets stuck in some cliffs, which was kind of funny. And then Max, who was a jock guy, gets dispatched from a motorboat issue. Or motorboat, like the rudder and everything he gets him. That was actually pretty good, or a prop. It was pretty cool stuff. That was actually kind of nice. And then 2 guys from the group try to leave. They explode because you can't break a pact with the devil until you complete it. And then the dads get called while high, and they go out there because Melanie's trying to play innocent. Oh, you got to get Cole, and they try to get him. We get some weird 80s dance montage stuff. And also, throughout the movie, we get flashbacks of how these people got into B's group. And then we get a weird 80s montage thing where, Phoebe and Cole, after sharing their stories, have kissed. And then it's a sex thing because they have sex right in the basement of this family cabin that she goes to because she's trying to figure this out. It turns out that she saw her family get killed. And it was because the babysitter was driving her there to get her rabbit back, and they accidentally got in an accident. Who was the babysitter? I wonder. It was B. So it turns out the B actually wasn't evil. She just gave her soul to the devil to save Phoebe. Here's the problem with it, though. It's kind of retconning this whole thing because B was she was kind of good. She was also kind of evil because she wanted to live forever. Melanie gets Phoebe, and then, they're like, oh, hey, take the blood and everything. Take the blood of both of them, and they drink it. Well, then they start to get poisoned because it turns out that Cole ain't innocent. He's not a virgin anymore, and then they all explode. And B's also there because it turns out she knew about this, and she made this pact, and it was a way to save them because, the Cole changed her that night and everything, and I don't know. It just felt like too much of like trying to retread stuff, and it felt a little longer, even though it was like only, I think, about 95 minutes before the credits started. It was a ruse by B because she wanted to help Phoebe. She sold her soul to save Phoebe, and she liked Cole, and she's happy they got together. And then Cole's getting along just fine in school. Him and Phoebe have hooked up, and everybody's basically dead. And then the devil book is still there, by the way. The book that, the book of the devil, and it's there. And it gets blown open. The pages are all frayed and everything. But, oh, no, maybe we're going to get a third one. Please don't do a third one. Just don't. Just don't do a third one. Leave it here. Because otherwise you're gonna get into some territory you really don't want to. Hey, if they can make the third one pretty good, then okay. But this one, it overall gets a B- because it hit some highs that are too good to ignore, but the lows do drag it down a bit, and it isn't as good as the first one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.